From time immemorial, our ancestors have put a deep meaning into any of their occupations, and the subtleties of different crafts were kept, passing from generation to generation. These are details, important accents of which the culture and way of living of the Great Steppe civilization were built for centuries. The School of Nomads is for studying the past, creating the present to build the future. Do you know what is the most important for a nomad? It is the road. The road to new places, green meadows, succulent grass for cattle. And in this way, the nomad took with him all the most important things, and most importantly, the house that is convenient for moving. Yurt is the greatest invention of nomadic civilization. This portable dwelling without corners, it is round. It is like our moon and the sun. It accompanied my ancestors for many centuries. And today, I want to learn how to put up this unique structure correctly. Kazakh is the largest film studio in Central Asia and the cradle of national cinema. It was founded 80 years ago. This film studio has brought up several generations of talented actors, directors, cameramen. Today, Kazakh is a national dream factory with a territory of 15 hectares. Here are the two largest studio stages in the country and amazing backlots. The studio is located practically at the foot of the mountains. Once the father of Kazakh cinema, Shaken Aymanov, personally chose this place. The National Film Factory has produced more than a dozen historical films. Among them, the most famous are Jibek, Tragedy of Otrar, Nomads, Minbala, Kazakh Khanate. And all these historical films would not have turned out to be truly epic and colorful without a team of professional artists, decorators, and of course, yurt makers. That's why I came to Kazakh. I am sure in the National Film Studio of the country, I will be taught how to properly put up a Kazakh yurt. I want to get to know all the subtleties of this ancient building, and Dusen Sadman, a professional decorator, yurt maker, who has been working at the film studio for 30 years, will help me in this. Hello, Dusenaga. How are you? Hi. My name is Samad. I studied history of my people, our culture and crafts. Today, I would like to get acquainted with the traditional dwelling not only of Kazakhs, but also of many Turkic peoples, yurt, to learn about it as much as possible. And of course, I would like to try to put up a yurt, of course, with the help of you. Well, will you show me? Welcome, son. You came just in time. We were just about to put up a yurt. Oh, it's great. Yes, you're lucky. Today we will put up a 6-winged white yurt. Come on, son. I will tell you everything I know about this craft. Come, let's sit over there. Yes, let's go. Yeah, let's start with the history. After all, as far as I know, a yurt has appeared among nomads very long time ago. Scientists are still studying the history of the yurt. There are even rock carvings where there are images of a yurt. It was a convenient portable home. Yurt is one of the unique cultural heritage of the nomadic civilization that conquered the great steppes of Eurasia. For thousands of years, every detail of the structure, each of its poles, has acquired not only a functional form, but also a deep philosophical meaning. This is a whole work of art, the history of which goes back many centuries. According to scientists, the first prototypes of the modern yurt appeared on the expanses of the Great Steppe in the 5th-6th century BC. But it is possible that the rock paintings depicting dwellings are almost 3,000 years old. So the exact time of the appearance of a yurt by scientists is still unknown. And what are the qualities of a yurt? It saves in the winter from the cold, and in summer from the heat. All because it is covered with felt. Yes, our ancestors used felt in daily life. And of course, they covered a yurt with it. After all, kiezui means a felt house. In the nomadic culture, the first felt dwellings consisted only of poles and felt, and resembled a hut more. Time passed, and the structure was improved and turned into a comfortable dwelling for nomads. And so our ancestors roamed on horseback, camels, right? Yes, on camels, bulls. One yurt could be loaded on 2 camels. What is its weight? All depends on the number of lattice sections, wings. So there are 300, 400 kilograms. Sometimes more than 500 kilograms. Such yurts with all decoration could be loaded on 3 bulls. In this case, the yurt is easy to assemble. Yurt is the first architectural structure in the nomadic history, convenient for transporting, safe for earthquakes, and its round shape saved people from strong winds and storms. According to some scholars, this form of dwelling carries a sacred meaning and in the Kazakh worldview is a kind of micromodel of the universe. For example, mounds. They were round, and the yurt was round. Then, according to modern scholars, the peoples who inhabited the territory of Eurasia and lived in yurts, they already knew then that the shape of the earth is also round. Aga, let's start then. I want to put up a yurt and see all that you told me here. Shall we start? Of course, son. Let's start. So let's start to put up. Where do we start? At first, we put Sıkır Layık. So all the work starts with the door? Yes. Sıkır Layık. So the Kazakhs named the door of the yurt. It used to be put up with 2 stakes. The stronger the door, the stronger will be the walls. Kerige. The doorway of the yurt is quite low, and it has a certain meaning. But we will explain one by one. In general, the yurt consists of several pieces. Kerige, Uyuk, Sıkır Layık, and Şanırak. Kerige is the foundation of the dwelling, its walls. It consists of separate sections, which are called wings. Uyuk, dome poles, connecting Kerige and Şanırak. And Şanırak is the main part of the yurt. By the way, there is an ancient tradition. Anyone who passed by the erected yurt at least had to help the gathered people. This Kazakh custom is an excellent example of mutual assistance, which is called asar. It seems that our people follow these step rules since the very beginning of the nomadic life. And it is not by chance that a yurt, which is put up by the whole world, is a symbol of unity. This is a 6-winged white yurt. How do you think how many wings it has? Here are these sections. We're counting according to them. Each section is a wing. That is according to the number of kerige. Yes, sure. And how many wings does a yurt have? 6, 8, 12. And earlier there were yurts with 24 wings. Well, probably it was the Khan's yurt, right? In general, all was depend on possibilities. Sure. To put up kerige, to raise the Şanırak, and to fasten the uyuks is not easy to do. In fact, one person cannot cope with this. But the guys who are next to me, they're real professionals in this matter. They confessed to me that they can put up such a yurt with all the internal and external decoration in an hour. It is not surprising, because one yurt is not enough during shooting of the historical film. They build a whole owl operatively. So you need a professional skill. Here you see, this is the last section of the kerige. So our 6 wings are fixed. I've been wondering how these wings form an even circle. It can be. It's about the ancient method that our great-grandfathers came up with. Aga, please explain to me, is this done with the help of the wicks? Yes, we derive the diagonal of the yurt with the help of the wicks. In general, you can measure by steps. If you fold 4 wicks, then along their length, it is possible to determine the diagonal of the yurt and diameter. You see, such a folk geometry. Surprisingly, our ancestors had an idea of the diagonal many centuries ago. I'll fasten the last section of the kerige stronger now. The stronger the lasso will be tightened, the stronger will be our yurt. In the old days, craftsmen who were called ushi were making wooden parts of the yurt. They were sensitive to the material they worked with. For making the details of the yurt, different types of trees are used: birch, poplar, but the most reliable material has always been willow. It is called in Kazakh as stal. It is a firm, but at the same time flexible tree species, which can be bent, given the necessary shape. What role does this lasso play? It is called the main lasso. It is which keeps the weight of kerige, wicks, felt. The pressure is on it. Therefore, the main lasso should be pulled tight. That's why this arkan performs the most important function, since all the weight from the yurt falls on it. I will tighten it more tightly. Kazakhs say a wish to each other. Wish you a strong kerige. It means not only a solid home. These words have a deep philosophical meaning. Our people, in general, have many beliefs associated with the yurt. According to ancient beliefs, the universe consists of 3 parts. The sky is a place for spirits. Its inhabitants, they say, tied the straps over their heads. The inhabitants of the land tie up their belts. And the legs of those who are in the lower world are tightened with a belt. The yurt threshold was associated with the lower world. Shanarak meant height, and the wicks and kerige were a symbol of strength. We came to the most important moment in the erecting of our yurt. We will lift the sacred for all Kazakhs, Shanarak. By tradition, it was lifted up by the head of the family. And yet, there is such a custom. When you set a Shanarak, you should remain silent until 7 wicks are fastened to it. There is a saying, losing 7 wicks are like a man without kith or kin. And if so, then we respect our traditions. We will stop talking and we will start the most important action. Let's set our shanarak. Come on, friends. Well, guys, let our shanarak be high. Lift it up. In fact, a shanarak is a wooden rim. Inside of it, there are kuldirush, thin wooden poles crossed with each other. The cross inside the circle represents the movement of the sun. Therefore, it is a symbol of life on earth. The ends of the lines are the 4 directions of the world, according to the position of which, according to the stars, our ancestors made a kind of timetable for moving from one parking lot to another. Oh sure, and the Kazakhs and all the peoples living in the yurts used the shanarak to determine the time. Shanarak is a dome decoration of the dwelling. This plays the role of a window, letting in the light, and also serves as a chimney of the hearth inside the yurt. So the phrase Kara Shanarak, that is the black dome, determines not only the age of the Shanarak, there's a deeper meaning. It means that several generations have grown up in this house, that the roots of this family are deep, that the Shanarak has turned black from the soot of centuries, thereby proving that the traditions in this house are passed along with the Shanarak from generation to generation. That's why Shanarak was always honored by the nomads. It cannot be broken, even turned over. Therefore, we took this attribute as carefully as possible, and with the help of a long pole, erected it above the yurt. Shanarak turned out to be heavy, so it was not easy to keep it while the others inserted the wicks. With each wick, our yurt more and more gets the necessary form. That's why I am pleased very much. A wick on one side is bent at 130 degrees. This side of the pole is tied to kerege with the help of a lasso. The straight side is inserted into the hole located in the Shanarak. This happens until all the wicks take their rightful place and the Shanarak will not be securely fixed. Not the easiest stage of the process, but together we are coping with this task. By the way, both wicks and Shanarak are depicted on the state emblem of the Republic of Kazakhstan. This once again proves their great, important role in the culture of the Kazakh people. That's why we lifted the frame of the yurt. We put kerege, erected a Shanarak, connected the wicks. Now the structure should be covered with felt, and then it turns out every piece of felt has its own name. Yusenaga explained how they're called. We will wrap up the walls with the part that is called as turlik. Felt for the upper part is called the uzik. Uzik? Yes. A Shanarak is covered with tundik. So tundik for Shanarak. Another small piece of felt closes the door. It is called shi, because it was made from the chi grass. Felt is also heavy. Several Jigets carried it hardly ever. Felt is also divided by type, size, thickness. But they all have the same task, in winter to save from the cold and in the summer from the heat. Before we covered the frame with the main arkan, now one more kind of arkan. We will tie it over felt. It is called a half-length arkan. Ropes from the turlik and tundik are attached to this noose. Therefore, it should also be tightly tightened. This is uzik, with which we'll cover the poles. We'll use the long poles to cover, and after we will fasten firmly. Turlik, uzik, tundik. Thanks to these three parts, our yurt has acquired usual form. The number of turliks depends on the size of the yurt. For example, 6 wings need 4 turlik, and the number of uziks is directly proportional to the number of turliks. The tundik is square and covers the Shanarak. So we finished with the outer decoration of the yurt. Now we need to do the interior. Now you will see the diversity of Kazakh craft with your own eyes. How beautiful our yurt looks from the outside, just as it will be beautiful inside. We decorated the upper part of the yurt. Now we decorate kerege. By the way, one more feature of the yurt. When it is made, not a single nail is used. Everything here is cored up. All kinds of ropes are used. It is pulled over by lassos and also fastened by leather and felt rivets. Our ancestors paid much attention to beauty, purity, and naturalness. In the producing of all household items, they used only natural raw materials. And the yurt is one more confirmation. If the details of the yurt were made by men, then the women made various rugs, carpets, curtains. The most interesting in a yurt, where there are no corners, not even separate rooms. Still, there's a special place for women and a separate for men. Well, Aga, it is like we all finished. Inside we decorated our yurt, put all the things in their places. And as I understand, here everything has its place, right? Of course, at the entrance the right side of the yurt is considered female. And here are the relevant things. Here is a dal, some kind of sideboard. They put dishes here. Food. This is kebeje, such a small coffer. They put everything into it. Here, look. These are torsiks, vessels for kumis and water. You could take it along for travel. It was tied to a horse saddle, and owner took it with him. Here is another interesting item, kese kap, case for cups. It is needed to ensure that the dishes do not break when roaming from place to place. You see, everything is made of leather. And these are chests. You would fold up the blankets and pillows. Our ancestors were also hunters. This is the fox skin. On the one hand, this item speaks of the wealth of the owners. On the other hand, it defended the house against all ungodliness. For this, it was hung, well, for beauty too. Fox or wolf skin. There are a shield and swords. And this is our good old dombra. It is impossible to be Kazakh without dombra. This dombra is 100 years old. Even my father played it. Wow, look at what I have in my hands. Dombra with a century-old history. And how it sounds. Do you hear? Yeah, it sounds beautiful. Of course. Yeah, what a variety. You can examine all these things until the evening. It's as if the history of a whole nation is gathered in one dwelling. Having finished our work, we sat at the dasturkan, filled with baursaks and kumis. We rest and share our impressions from the past wonderful day. Come in, my dear. My girl is coming here. My dear, grandfather's joy. This is my granddaughter. Do you want a barsak? Eat, do not be shy. Children need to know their history. I tell my grandchildren about all this. I show how it is called, how it's done. Our grandmother does a lot of things. I agree with you, Aga. He who does not know the past will not build the future. Is not that what they say? Therefore, we descendants should know all this. Guys, and you, Aga, today you together showed me our national heritage, our value, a yurt. You taught and showed how to put it up, and to sit with you now under this shanarak at the same dasturkan to conduct a pleasant conversation. This whole atmosphere overwhelms me with amazing feelings. Guys, thank you very much. Let your path in the development and preservation of our culture be bright. I wish you to continue developing our traditional values. Thank you very much. Be healthy. Yurt, microcosm of my ancestors. Here, every detail has a deep meaning. The hearth under the shanarak is fire. It is a symbol of human life. And over the shanarak, the fire of the Creator burns. Yurt is the source of existence, the golden cradle. It is important to cherish our culture, to appreciate traditions, to transfer all this to the next generation. Indeed, it was for this when our fathers left us this property.